Greetings fellow makers, I'm Bill, and today I'm going to show you how I pack all of my costume armor for air travel. You see, we're packing up and getting ready to go to San Diego Comic-Con in just another day or two. And I got to find out a way to get all of this shiny Mechanist armor all the way down to San Diego from Seattle. And we're flying, and I don't think they're going to let me just wear it all on the plane. Although, they will let you wear a helmet, or they've let me wear a helmet. Technically that counts as your one personal item. So I was Judge Dredd one time flying on down, and they actually got a kick out of it, which was pretty cool. But the whole set of armor, that might be a little bit cumbersome. One thing to note is you definitely can't carry on anything that looks like a weapon, even if it is a non-functional prop. So plan on packing that stuff in your luggage and checking it before you get on the plane. Speaking of checked luggage, that is where we start. I've got several of these plastic footlockers here behind me that I use to travel with my costumes. Now this guy right here I got from a local hardware store. It was, I don't know, 20 or 30 bucks, not too bad. And it's durable and it's very lightweight. You can find one at your local hardware store, or we'll have links to some examples down in the description. Now this guy right here is exactly the right dimensions that airlines will let you have before it's counted as oversized. You definitely want to make sure that it's not technically oversized, because you'll get to the airport and then they'll tell you that it's going to cost you $1 million more to fly with that versus a normal sized piece of luggage. Also, knowing the dimensions of my luggage makes it really handy before I start building my props and costumes. If I have the luggage on hand while I'm building my costume, I can plan accordingly and design those prop and costume pieces to fit in that particular piece of luggage. That's right, I plan my costume to fit in the luggage. I don't build a giant piece of armor and then desperately hope that I can find a piece of luggage that it will fit in. I know from experience that that path leads to frustration and tears. Once my costume is all finished and I'm ready to go, I can set about packing it in my fancy piece of luggage. If I have parts of the costume or some of my props that I'm a little bit worried about getting knocked around, I'll lay down a towel or maybe some foam floor mats in there to add a little bit of protection from the bumpy ride, or the throwers as they're called. Then I'll start jigsaw puzzling my armor into the luggage. Especially if it's foam armor, you'll find it a little bit surprising how much you can jam in there. But I also find that I have to kind of repack it a couple of times to really learn the best way to use that space economically and fit everything in there. I'll also use some of my normal man clothing to fill up some of the empty spaces in the luggage. You know, spots in between the armor pieces where they don't nest together perfectly. Be wary about packaging anything that may decompress violently, such as any aerosol containers or any adhesives that you're bringing. I like to pack these things in zip top bags to make sure that if they do leak, they're not going to go crazy. Fun story, my first trip to Dragon Con, we had a can of hairspray just go completely bonkers inside of our luggage, coating a whole bunch of stuff in a sticky goo. Once you've Jenga'd your way into a fully packed piece of luggage, you can then close it up, lock it down tight, and get ready to travel. Now you can always get a TSA approved lock if you want to lock it up, but I usually just put a nut and bolt on there to make sure that the top doesn't fly open while it's traveling. That way if the TSA wants to check it out, which if you're traveling with armor and props, they probably will, you can just bolt it together and they can unscrew it if they want to check it out and screw it back together when they're done. The last thing you want to do is weigh your luggage before you leave for the airport. Around here, 50 pounds is the weight limit. Anything above that, they charge you a whole crap ton more. So make sure that your luggage weighs less than 50 pounds. If it weighs more, it's usually more economic to bring a second piece of luggage than to get slapped with those oversized fees. And just like that, we are off to the races, or off to your favorite comic convention. Hey, thanks for checking out our video. We're getting ready for San Diego Comic-Con, and I figured this would be a really good, useful piece of information if anyone else is getting ready to fly to their conventions nearby, like San Diego Comic-Con. Speaking of Comic-Con, we're gonna have a little bit of a meetup. We have a link down in the description to that meetup. It's on Thursday, July 22nd in San Diego, somewhere around the convention area. We'll have a little bit of a get together. Go check out the Facebook event link below. Let us know that you're interested in going, and we will book a bar or something to go hang out. That's gonna be really fun. And hey, I'd like to take a moment to thank our patrons for making these videos possible. You guys are amazing for supporting us. If you're looking to help out a little bit, or if you just wanna see what it's all about, head on over to patreon.com/punishedprops for the rest of the details. If you're new to the channel, hey, thanks for stopping by. You really ought to subscribe. We have a whole bunch of videos. Go check out some of our older videos, including some other convention prep tips. And speaking of conventions, I've got a plane to catch, and I'll see you guys at Comic-Con.